Hey guys, my name is Alpha and welcome to the Silver Gold Saver channel. Today I want to show you the newest addition to my stack, and that is this 100 ounce Engelhard bar. I also want to share my experience in purchasing this bar. This is kind of a new experience for me. I purchased it through Instagram, which is a little bit risky, and I want to share kind of the experience, what I did to kind of mitigate some of the risks, and maybe show you the bar as well. So I normally purchase my metals through online dealers that have a really good reputation. I think most of you know them, right? Apmex, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, so those guys. So the ones that are more well known, for this very specific reason that those dealers have a reputation to uphold, and so if something isn't to your expectations, usually you can just return it within a certain amount of time. Some of them may charge like a restocking fee, but most of them don't. I've experienced kind of returning items that I bought before, and so that's kind of a pretty safe one. Obviously, I also bought and sold through local coin shops and coin dealers in person. That's probably the safest, right? Because you literally get the money and you pay the money right then and there at the same time as you get the item. This one, I decided to try my hand on Instagram. I've only bought 2 other items on Instagram before. It was a good experience, but those were like literally 1 ounce coins, and so much different from a 100 ounce bar. So I got this Engelhard bar. I've been looking for an Engelhard bar for the longest time. This is my very first one. Specifically, I wanted this because I really like the cooling lines on it. If you can see, it's kind of like forming this pattern here all over, right? I've never had, hit the camera, never had an Engelhard bar before, so this is not only my first Engelhard bar, but it's 100 ounces. It's massive. I'm okay with like the imperfections and all that, because as I've stated before, I'd rather have poured silver because it's unique. Every one of them is going to be different versus kind of a more standard silver bar. Nothing wrong against nothing against these guys, but from a preference standpoint, I like this one better. This one obviously has the shine, right? You can see the bar reflecting on it. So just for size comparison, look how thin this is, look how thick this is, right? So I guess 10 of these, literally 10 of these 10 ounce bars will equal this guy. Also for size comparison, you got your one ounce sunshine minting bar right next to it. You gotta be careful with these because they're super shiny and reflective. And then in the back, we got a 20 ounce Scottsdale. So this one I thought it was poured, but it's cast, I guess, right? So it's more kind of uniform than like a true poured bar. So actually, like the 100 ounce bar is slightly thicker, bigger in basically every dimension, right? So that's just for size comparison. So let me kind of go through the thought process and what I did to kind of mitigate some of the risks in buying on Instagram. Obviously, if it's just a normal kind of person, then there's always a risk that either the bar is not real or they won't send it to you. There are other kind of like online dealers that are also on Instagram, and they would usually have a website, and you can kind of like research them. So what I did to kind of mitigate some of the risks that I thought there was, was I looked up the individual. Obviously, they would have kind of like a screen name, right, on Instagram, as we all do. And so, but this individual had over 1,000 posts, close to 2,000 posts. All of them and most of them are for precious metals. So they, this is clearly kind of a quote unquote business for them, right? This individual has over 4,000 followers and follows over 4,000 people, and so that's helpful. Look at kind of the history of their photos, So if it's only been like a month, all of their photos have been within the past month, that's kind of a red flag, right? That means it's a new account and whatever. You can also see that they've sold, precious metals to other buyers, and so you can kind of check the history for those. And then the payment methods that they use. This individual had over 10 kind of payment methods, including Google Pay, Apple Pay, a check, like a physical check, a wire transfer, PayPal, obviously, both kind of friends and family, and goods and services, and then Zelle, so all kinds. I think the most important one, in my opinion, for those payment methods is the PayPal goods and services, because even though you as a buyer will pay 3% more, it kind of tells me as a buyer that the seller is confident enough that they're selling something real, because the goods and services option for PayPal has the buyer protection, and so if it's not real, you can get reimbursed. I've never used it, right? But that's kind of theoretically what it's supposed to be. So that one's good. This being a pretty big purchase, some of those methods didn't work, right? Like, so at least for me, Zelle did not work. It has a $2,500 limit. I'm sure the other ones also wouldn't work, because I tried to figure out like which of these payment methods. Obviously the check will work, right? It's direct from my bank account. I think what I used was Google Pay. It had a bigger kind of like transfer limit, but almost all of those methods do not have kind of buyer protection. So once the money's out, it's out, right? And so this is kind of a somewhat of a lesson for buyers that try to like get the cheapest price. Sometimes it's just better to buy it from your local coin shop and pay a little bit more for the quote unquote safety that you got something real. And buying online necessarily, there's kind of a disproportionate risk, at least at first, right? Because you literally pay first and wait for the item to get shipped. In this case, I waited 5 days. So I paid on Sunday, shipped on Monday. It arrived today, Friday. So 5 days is a long time to wonder whether this one cost me like $2,600 or $2,600 and change, plus the shipping. That's a long time to wonder whether or not you got scammed. Luckily, everything turned out well. He also gave me the option to pay a little bit more for shipping to make it registered mail versus just kind of like normal mail. And for a big purchase, just pay up the option that gives you a little bit more peace of mind. Registered mail is obviously insured as well, so that's got some protection, and it requires a signature whenever it gets shipped. There's obviously tracking as well. So all of those are kind of precautions that I took. The one precaution that I literally regretted instantly that I did not take was ask for references. So I've seen those happen in kind of Instagram where a seller would say like, hey, if we've done business before, would you kindly comment on this post so that I can provide references? I think that's a totally fair request whenever you're buying something, especially something that costs more than an ounce of gold, right? So I did not do that, but I would recommend that to anyone, and I would do it the next time I would buy something this big. The other thing that I did, kind of again, is somewhat of a precaution, was, as soon as I got the box in my house, I turned on my camera in my phone and kind of recorded the opening and kind of an unboxing, right? Only because you have video evidence to show if it was not real. Again, luckily everything was fine. I unboxed it, and then I literally used my Sigma Metalytics right away, and it was within those brackets, so it is silver. And then I used my scale to weigh it. It is like literally 100 troy ounces on the dot. So I'm pretty confident this is a real Engelhard bar. So yeah, let's take a look at it. So those are it's kind of a fun adventure and experience. Could have easily been a misadventure, and that would have been bad. This is easily my favorite bar in my collection. All right, it's a plain bar, guys, so there's no not much to show except how big and heavy it is. I also like that there's a serial number, and every one of them will be unique. Again, the pour lines is kind of what got me, and this bull logo from Engelhard, this kind of denotes that this is a Canadian bar. So interesting story. Hope you liked the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next video. Thank you.